Okay, getting started our 8th data analysis bootcamp, interactive Plotly. And so Plotly is just a really great library. It allows us to do so many cool things, original plots, get really deep into the data analysis. Plotly is originally designed to make dashboards, but Plotly Express that we'll use today allows us to do a lot more one-off plots that work quite well in our data analysis. And really, you'll see it allows you to go a step further with your plots with the interactivity. It also has a lot of unique features that are not available in Seaborn. That although it can be a little bit more work to do Plotly just for generic plots, there's just so much customization available that it can be to do a more complex plot. It can actually be faster to do it in Plotly. Okay, so use the best tool for the job. So unveiling insights through interactivity. We'll have lots of fun going through the Plotly today. Okay, so getting started with our first one here, an histogram. The histogram plot is something we've talked a lot about. It has a certain number of bins, and the amount of times data occurs within the bin, we're going to count that, and that's going to be the height of our bars. And we're going to subsection our data into little groups right here based on the range, essentially putting our data into bins. Now, like we saw in Seaborn, we can change the color of these distributions by the color of another category. So here we're changing it by 2010 to 2013, 14 to 17, 2018 to 2021, and the groupings like that. Now we can do that, but we can step it up a notch here with Plotly and add in another category. We can change now the pattern by a different category. So changing the pattern by yield per colony. And so looking at here, now we can see low and high, the years, mid years here, low and high production. And so you're able to really inspect it by, by a few variables to get a better understanding of this relationship with its categories. We can go even further now and do some kind of cool and unique in this. Instead of doing our distribution in the sense that we are going to count and plot up the number of times we see data within the bin, we can actually fill up the bin with, let's say, the average or the min or the max of another category, right? So another continuous variable, we can use that as saying, what's in the bin? We can fill up the bin with what's in a different continuous variable. So we can start getting an understanding of that bivariate relationship, which is just a really cool feature that we don't have access to in another plot well, really in any other way. The reason though that I use this the most is the ability to do the box plot at the top here of the histogram, which is just a really quick and handy little thing when you're doing your error analysis or your outlier analysis and starting to understand. It's really handy if I want to truncate my outliers to know where that whisker goes out to. And with this, you can just hover your mouse over this and it'll highlight where it goes out to, and then truncate your data into that specific call or that specific value. And it just saves a lot of time. You can do something like this. Plotly is a little bit more work to do in general, not so much, but it's more than Seaborn. But Seaborn to do something like this would be a decent amount of code, and it is truthfully just so much easier to do in Plotly, and it is really helpful to be able to really just get those values right away without having to kind of guess what you think it is, and just having something highlighted for you is really kind of nice and handy. And to have to really only give this plot an extra argument to make that possible is really handy. And so our Plotly histogram, where we can change what's in the bin, and so we always have to ask what's in the bin.